Hey guys, SuperHolo1 here, welcome back to another video, and today we are here again with my Lionel Post-war 2035 steam locomotive with its functioning 6466W tender. Now if you are familiar with my channel, you may know I did a video on this a little while back, but we don't talk about that. I kinda didn't know what I was talking about at the time and had a lot of misinformation in there, so you might not be able to find that video after this one goes up. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, I was an idiot and had no idea what I was doing, so here we go again. Now, this locomotive was built in either 1950 or 1951. That was the years of production for the 2035 steamer. I think this one specifically was made in 1951. So, this locomotive was based off of the Pennsylvania Railroad K4 Pacific. Now, you may know that Pacifics are a 4-6-2 wheel arrangement, meaning that they have 4 wheels on the lead truck, 6 drive wheels, and 2 wheels on the trailing truck. Now, you may notice this locomotive is not a 4-6-2, it is a 2-6-4, which is classified as an Adriatic steam locomotive, which they didn't actually have any of in the United States. So, Lionel kind of done did a goof in the 50s, and they made this thing. But most people just call it a K4 anyway, so that's what I'm gonna call it, except, you know, it's not a Pacific, it's a Adriatic, so it's technically a K4 Adriatic locomotive. Now, there are 3 distinguishing features on this locomotive that mark it as what was supposed to be a Pennsylvania Railroad K4. The first is up on the front. We have this Keystone number plate here. Now, the Keystone number plates were put on any locomotive that was run by the Pennsylvania Railroad that was at any point supposed to haul passenger trains. So, the K4, K4S, M1s, M1As, M1Bs, Q1, Q2, T1, so on and so forth, were all equipped with that Keystone number plate. Now, you may also notice, probably not because it's dark, but there is a number on that plate that is 5690. This locomotive is numbered 2035. The reason for that 5690 is not to be a locomotive identification like it is on most other scale models of Pennsylvania Railroad equipment. That 5690 designates this locomotive as being an O27 locomotive, which is designed to run on the O27 tubular track of the 1950s. So that's why that's numbered 5690, not 2035. The second feature is this raised headlight. While this was a feature that was common on many locomotives owned by many different railroads, the Pennsylvania Railroad used it more often than not. In fact, there was only ever one type of K4 that had the headlight in the center. That locomotive also held the distinction of being the only Pennsylvania Railroad locomotive of its, well, the only type of locomotive that had a headlight in the center. That was the streamlined K4 Bullet that was designed by Raymond Loewy to pull the Broadway Limited, until it was converted back into a standard K4, where the headlight was moved back up. Now, the third and final feature on this locomotive that kind of is the final nail in the coffin for why this is supposed to be a Pennsylvania Railroad K4 is this firebox. This is a Belfair firebox, which was the only type of firebox used on Pennsylvania Railroad locomotives. If you can find a PRR locomotive that doesn't have this kind of firebox, let me know, because I have yet to find one. That is also something that you might see on Long Island Railroad and Pennsylvania Reading Seashore Line locomotives. The reason for that is because those locomotives were either bought or leased from the Pennsylvania Railroad, or they were ordered using the Pennsylvania Railroad designs. So that's why they had it. So they are technically Pennsylvania Railroad locomotives, just under a different name. Alright, now back to the Lionel part of this model. This model was sold with this tender. This is a 6466W tender. The W meaning that it has a whistle in it. So if I pull off this top bit here, that's what the whistle looks like. Now, the way this works is there's a relay on the back. So this relay is triggered when you push this little switch forward on that triggers the whistle. What that does is that sends a small DC current into the track, which triggers this, which pulls up a little plate. It's in there that completes the circuit, which causes this to activate. This is the motor turns, the motor turns a fan, and that fan blows air out this hole, and there's a hole on the bottom, and I'm not sure if it pulls air in through that or blows it out, but either way, this thing spinning and air going in / out of one of those two holes, or both of them, is what generates that wonderful post-war whistle sound that we all know and love. Now, there are 4 cars that I run this thing with, like, constantly. I'm not sure if they were sold with the Locomotive, like, as a set, or if they were bought separately and I just run them with it constantly. I'm also not entirely sure what their classifications are. I think it's this number down here. Correct me if I'm wrong. But, also, if these were sold as a set or weren't, let me know, because I'm not entirely sure. But anyway, so I think this is a 6454 boxcar. We have a 627 gondola that I have coal in. This is a live load, so I can actually like pick this stuff up and move it. And if the car falls over and off the layout, then I'm going to have issues. But we have this Sunoco tank car as well that doesn't actually have a number other than the 8,000 gallons and some corporate numbers. And then we have the 6454 caboose that is eliminated. Alright, so now the moment probably 90% of you have been waiting for. Let's run this thing, shall we? there you have it. That is my Lionel Post-war 2035-264 Adriatic type steam locomotive, built circa 1950-1951, with its functioning 6466W tender. I love running this engine. As you saw through the running shots, I had it pulling a bunch of different cars. I started with that 4-car consist that I showed you that I think came as a set, and then I put on as many cars as it could pull, quote-unquote, comfortably, which it didn't really, because none of my cars roll for crap. And then I had it pulling the 3 Madison cars that I restored with my 2332 GG1, which I think those passenger cars are a great complement to this engine, because it was built on a K4, which pulled passenger trains for most of its service life. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I am CW Hollow 1, and have a good day, or maybe good night in your case. See ya.